Hello and welcome to this new video tutorial on the administrator functions. So in this video we are going to learn how to manage the store hierarchy in the SMT. So this video will cover creating a new store hierarchy, customizing the supply chain levels, modifying the hierarchy, and exporting the store hierarchy. To start, the first thing that I'm going to do is to log into the SMT as a country administrator. So once I'm logged in as a country administrator, here on the top menu, I can see there's a tab called Store Data. Store Data is the functionality that allows administrators to manage the settings for the different locations where the SMT will be used, from creating vaccine stores and supply chain connections in the system to managing population details and other parameters on each store. The store data functionality has also different sub-tabs. So we are going to start with the first one, which is the store hierarchy. So this is basically the list and details of the vaccine stores in a country. So customizing this store hierarchy is a prerequisite to start operating the SMT, because this will be needed to assign store operators to specific locations and to correctly record transactions between stores. On this screen, you can see a table that shows the supply chain levels from 1 to 5 and the number of stores that is associated to each. So by default, we are always going to have one store at level 1. So this is like our central level, one national store. But for the moment, the rest of levels don't have any stores associated to them. And even here on the bottom part of the screen, you can see that the store hierarchy is blank. So when we want to start building a store hierarchy, the first thing that we are going to do is to download a template. The hierarchy will be built in Excel. So I will download a template, enter the necessary information, and then re-upload that file back into the SMT. So to download the template, you can just click here. This will download an Excel file that you can open. And in this Excel file is where you need to build your store hierarchy. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. So you can see there's different columns here. I'm on the tab called Locations. This is where the information needs to be entered. However, there is another tab called Instructions. So it is important that when you download this file, first you come to the instructions, you read this information, and you have a look here at this example on how to fill the store hierarchy. Once you have understood the instructions, you can come back to the Locations tab and you can start entering the data. So you can see here there is a different columns with different colors on the header. So basically, for the purpose of the SMT, the only mandatory columns are C, E, and F. The reason why we have other columns in this file is because this file is following the same format as the EVM assessment file. So if you have conducted an EVM assessment, you probably already have a file with your storage facility listed. So you can reuse that file. And that is why we have kept the same order in the columns and the same format to make it easier for you. But basically the only mandatory data for the purpose of the SMT is C, E, and F. Column E is where you are going to enter the name of each one of your vaccine stores, each one of your storage facilities. Column F, you will enter the supply chain level associated to that specific store. And column C, you are going to enter the parent facility. So the facility to which this one reports to. I'm just going to enter a few examples to see it a little bit more clearly. So let's say that we are going to start by entering our central store. So we have a store which is our national vaccine store. This is our central level, so therefore is level 1. So here under this column, I enter only numbers, so I just enter level 1. The national vaccine store does not report to anyone within the country, so this field here, the parent facility name of the national vaccine store, I leave it blank. Then I'm going to start entering my regional stores. So for example, I can enter South regional store, and maybe I have North regional store, and these ones are below the national level. So that means they are level 2. So I'm going to enter here level 2. And both of them report directly to the national. So as the parent facility name, I'm going to enter here the national store. So I'm just going to copy paste. And that is it. Then I can start entering other levels. So for example, my districts. So let's assume that I have district store South 1, and I have district store South 2, for example. These are level 3, and both of them report to the South regional store. So here under parent facility name, I can just enter South regional store. Then maybe I have district store North 1 and district store North 2. These are also level 3, but in this case they report to North regional store. So I'm going to enter North regional store as the parent to these two district stores. And just like that, I will continue entering all the details of all the vaccine stores that I have in the country. So I can go region by region, district by district, or I can first enter all my regions, then all my districts, then all the health facilities. The order in which you enter the lines does not matter. What is important is that the code here is correct. So if your level 2 is regional stores, all the regional stores need to have number 2 here. If level 3 is your districts, you need to make sure that all the district stores have a number 3 here. Then your level 4 could be, I don't know, like health facilities or any other structure that you have in your country, but you just need to make sure that the supply chain codes are correct and the parent facility names are correct. Apart from the facility names, levels, and connections, in this file it's also possible to enter the population. So population data for each one of the stores. So here you will enter the population data for the national vaccine store. So that means the total population of the country, the total population for the South region, the total population for the North region, the total population for this district store, and so on. This column is not mandatory, but it's really recommended that you enter that in the Excel as well to make it easier. Otherwise, you will have to enter the data manually in the SMT. But for the purpose of this video tutorial, I'm just going to leave this information blank for now, and I'm going to finish here. So let's assume that this is my full hierarchy. I have completed the file, so now I can just save it. You can add the name that you want. And now you return to the SMT. Once you are back here, now you see there is two other buttons. There is the export hierarchy and there is the import hierarchy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to import the hierarchy file that I have just created. So you click import hierarchy. The SMT is going to ask you to select a file. So you can just click and select the file that you have just created. It was this one, sample hierarchy. You add it. You are supposed to see a green message here saying that the file has been added successfully. And once the file is added, then you can just click submit. The information will be automatically uploaded into the SMT. If your store hierarchy is very short, like this one, as you can see, it doesn't take more than 1 second, 2 seconds. If you have a full hierarchy with thousands of stores, of course, it might take a little bit longer. But as you can see here, we have our national vaccine store, we have our 2 regional stores, and under each regional store, the SMT has already assigned the district stores. Okay. On the table on top, now we can also see that the number of stores at each level has been updated. So at level 2, we have 2 stores. At level 3, we have 4 stores. So after I import my hierarchy, it's very important to review the full hierarchy to make sure that everything is correct. If you see that there is a problem with the store hierarchy, you have made a mistake, maybe you have assigned the wrong supply chain level codes, or you have assigned the wrong connections, before you do anything else, you can just delete the full store hierarchy, go back to your Excel file, correct those mistakes, and come back and import the hierarchy again. This delete functionality will only work if you have just imported the store hierarchy and you have not assigned any store operators or any data to the hierarchy yet. So that is why it's very important to, before doing anything else, you review that the hierarchy is correct, and if it's not, you delete it and you repeat the process. Once our hierarchy is uploaded, the next thing that we are going to do is to customize the supply chain levels. So by default, you can see here there is 5 levels. They are just called level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But we can assign a name to these levels to match the structure of our country. So for example, if we have level 1 is our central level and level 2 is region, we can just change this name to say national and regional, or state or province, or whatever it is the name that we use in our country. So just come here to the action column, you click the edit button, and then you change this name. So I'm going to say that level 1, I want it to be called national. Level 2 is going to be regional. Level 3 is going to be my districts. And for now, I'm just going to leave it like that. Once I have assigned the names, the next thing that I will do is to activate or deactivate the levels. So basically, this is to select which levels are going to be using the SMT and which levels you want the SMT application to show. So basically, if you have uploaded a hierarchy with thousands of vaccine stores, but you are only using the SMT at the moment at the national and regional level, for example, you don't want to see all those thousands of stores across the different screens and reports and so on, because those are stores that are not using the SMT for now. So what you can do is here, you can deactivate the supply chain levels that are not using the SMT. So level 5 in my country is not using the SMT. Level 4 is not using the SMT either, so I'm going to deactivate it as well. And my districts, they are going to use the SMT in the future, but for now I have not rolled out the use of the SMT to that level. I'm just going to be using it at the national and regional, so I'm going to deactivate it as well. Once you have finished editing here, you can see that the table below also gets updated. So the heading of each column has been updated to the correct name, and here the stores will only show based on what you have active on the table on top. So for example, if I reactivate my districts, automatically the column with the districts come back. Once the store hierarchy file has been uploaded and the supply chain levels have been customized, now the SMT is ready to be used. However, it is also possible to modify the existing hierarchy by using the action buttons here. So let's assume that we have uploaded the hierarchy, but now we want to correct something in particular, for example, the name of a store. Is it possible to do that manually? So here I can click on the edit button. I can change, for example, the name of a specific store. The store name here is North Regional Store, so I can call it, let's say, North Kivu Regional Store and click update, and the name of the store will change. It's also possible to change the levels and the connections. So let's say like this district store North 1, in reality it does not report to this store, it reports directly to the national level. So I can come here, click edit, and under parent store name I can change the level of the parent. So it's going to report directly to the national, it's going to report to the national vaccine store, for example. So I change that, and automatically this district store has moved up. Now is no longer under this regional store, is directly under the national. It's possible as well to change the supply chain level. So let's assume that this one now becomes a regional store. So I can click edit again and say this store level is not a district, this is a regional. I'm going to change the name, and I can click update. So just like that, I can edit the hierarchy that I have previously uploaded. It's also possible to delete stores from the hierarchy. Let's imagine that this district store South 2 does no longer exist, so I can also click delete. Are you sure you want to delete this item? I can click yes, save. And that district store South 2 is going to completely disappear from my hierarchy. Of course, I can only delete stores from the hierarchy if the store does not have any data associated to it. If I have already entered any data or I have already added some store operators to that store, I can no longer delete it. Then the other thing that I can do is I can manually add the stores as well. So let's assume that here under this like South regional store, I want to add a district below. So I can just come here and click the plus button to add a new store under this one. So I'm going to add a district. The store name is going to be District Store 3, for example. By default, all the stores are online stores. It means all the stores are using the online version of the SMT. So I just click create. And this new district store is automatically added to my store hierarchy. And finally, the other thing that I can do is to change the settings from online to offline. So let's assume that one of these district stores is in a remote location where access to internet is not reliable. They will not be able to use the online version of the SMT. I want the store operators to start using the offline version of the SMT. So I will have to set that up from here, from the store hierarchy. So I just click on edit again, and I can change the status from online to offline and update, and that will be reflected accordingly in the store hierarchy. And finally, the last functionality from this screen, we also have the possibility to export the hierarchy. So once we have already built our store hierarchy in the SMT, it is possible to export it in an Excel form. So this can serve to facilitate the review of the store details. For example, if we have thousands of stores, it might be a bit difficult to review those stores here directly from the screen. So I can export it as an Excel, or also in cases where the hierarchy might be needed for other purposes or for other platforms outside the SMT. For example, as we were saying earlier, the hierarchy follows the same format as the hierarchy needed for the EVM assessment. So if I don't have an EVM assessment hierarchy yet, I can export the hierarchy from the SMT and reuse that information. So basically I just click here on the export hierarchy button. This is going to give me an Excel file. I'm going to open this Excel, and here you will be able to see that the information that I have entered and edited through the SMT is now available here in this Excel file. So this is all for the store hierarchy. I hope this video tutorial has been useful, and see you in the next video.